Are we doing it? Okay. First, hello. How many like bass players we got in the house here? Cool, cool. How many drummers? Okay, he's the multi-cat, right? Your prince. Keyboard players? Trumpet? Oboe? Kazoo? Okay. All right. I like to start off these clinics by asking. Okay, you've probably seen a million bass players. I'm one of them. So, what special thing you may ask of me that you might want to know about what I do? And I can tell you about the history of this and everything. But I want to start off that way. So, if I can start with someone, just shoot a question up. How long? Whew. Officially, I would say I got my start in the music business by Verdine White because I was really just jamming around Baltimore in local bands, not really playing too much, just having fun, learning about the stuff. And one of the bands was called Charlie and Company. And eventually, Charlie left, the horn section left, and I got together with this keyboard player named Al McKinney, and he started teaching me about the jazz stuff. And that band was called Innovisions. And Innovisions used to play a place called the Sportsman's Lounge. And the owner of this is a long story, and the owner of the Sportsman's Lounge just happened to have a friend that lived next door to Verdine White in California. And he told Verdine about the band. Verdine flew over to see us. And at that time, we had a different horn section, so our horn section decided they just want to play jazz. They didn't want to do any kind of pop stuff or R&B. So they left, and I got Charlie back, and that's how a group called Pockets got started. And they flew us to California. We signed a label with Columbia Records. We did an album. We toured with Earth, Wind & Fire opening for about 1.5 years. And that's how I really got started. And that was like 75, 76. So maybe I got started really playing somewhere around 72 when I picked up the bass and just said, okay, I like the way that sounds. My father brought a little bass home, and I just went in the basement, and my mother said, and I just didn't come up until she called for dinner. So, yeah, around the 70s I started, so. That's a double question. It's been great playing with Greg. He used to tease me and say that we wouldn't let him play with us because he was too small at that time. He didn't know anything, so we would play and say, "No, you go back upstairs. You couldn't play." But eventually, he got better. He went to school for drums. He went to Peabody. I went to school for art. I was an art major, painting and drawing, and that's why I like these guys, because I used to do little characters and comic book characters all the time. But then the music kind of just took over. That's when Pockets happened. I was in school, and then we got the deal, and I said, okay, I guess I want to go play, and I left school and never looked back. And luckily, everything worked out, God willing. And playing with Greg and playing with my brother, it's like another me back there, and vice versa, because we think together, and just really don't have to, tell him to do anything. We drop down the dynamics, do the accents, and it's cool. It's really good. We have several projects that we do together. We do the Acoustic Alchemy group together. Of course, we have our own project called Grainger, which we're working on our third CD. Redoing Pockets, where he's the percussionist and drummer, and we're in the PRS band. So it's been working out pretty good. Another question? Let's hear you play. Well, play what? That was like what would you want to hear me play?
I've heard you do your warm up, a little bit of your warm up thing on YouTube. I saw it and seen you do it at other places. You cold turkey, or do you, I mean, not warm up really, but practice, I guess?
It depends on what I have to practice. If I have a lot of time, I really try to stretch and just go through different exercises on my bass. I may just do like just or any kind of thing. I do a couple of different finger techniques, get my hands warm up. Other than that, mostly I just play and create and write, record. One of the things I like to play is a little thump groove. I love, well, of course, I'm a Larry Graham fan, so I love to use the thumb technique, or as you call it, the snap pop. What do you call it, really? Slap? Slap? Okay. Because I developed, at first when I thought I knew exactly what Larry was doing, I used to do it this way. And I did a song on the Pockets record, which is called In the Pocket. In the Pocket. I thought he was doing that until I saw him do this. I said, oh, okay. And then I still had it wrong because I thought he was doing. He's not doing that. He's like his thumb is laying down, and he's doing the double thumb thing, like the Victor Wooten thing. I said, oh, okay. So it's an evolution. You just learn just by listening to people like him, and even unknown people. There's some killer bass players at home you've never even heard of, and they're amazing, all of ages, young and old. But one of the songs we did on one of the Grainger records, I redid the bass line for a song called Creepin'. Stevie Wonder, you ever heard of it? Yeah. I love that groove. And it's like DC is famous for like go-go, so it has that like. So that's the other things I work on. The mute technique. Let's see who I saw. Anthony Jackson, yeah. Did a session with Anthony Jackson on one of Dennis's, I guess it was Dennis Chambers' first record. And I never knew how he got that nice solid thump sound. And then when he told me, that's when another one said, right? It's a lot of that goes on. So you probably know how to do it, right? You kind of mute, put your palm there, and it depends on how long you want the string to ring. You get that going. It's good for reggae stuff too. Like. Or, as I'll probably be playing tonight, You know,
Can you take us through just a few of the different styles you can play on the bass, on the PRS bass? Just because I know it's got a lot of functionality. Can you, like, from something real smooth to what you're playing now?
you can do just about everything on this bass. Paul and I, we designed this bass because, let's go into the history of the bass. Paul asked me to demonstrate his bass guitar at a NAMM show. That had to have been about 12 years ago or so. And I played, I guess, one of his basses that he had or he made, whatever. And it was cool, but I complained a lot. I said, well, it should have this and it should have that, and it just doesn't sound like this and that and that and that. And then that's when he said, well, look, why don't let's get together and design a bass. I said, okay. So I kind of just put all of the basses that I've been playing that I loved and kind of put it all in this one, which is like from the Fender to the Music Man to I think Ken Smith was the last bass that I really was playing a lot. And we just made a combination of this bass. One of the main problems I had with those basses is the balance. Like with, I said, Paul, all the basses I have, I used to put a hook or something here just to keep this from happening. Because I hate playing, pushing up on it. So he said, that's just a balance, we can fix that. So it just sits. It's cool, I love it. And then the sound or the pickups, he had a big influence on that with his electronics and his mind and genius, and he dialed in the different frequencies for the bass and the mid-range and the treble. And then he came up with this thing about the 2 volume pots, which I didn't really understand at first until I got into this. You have the basses that has the 1 volume and the balance. So when you put I like the sound in the middle, but you're only getting half of each pickup. So this way, you say, I'm getting both pickups, full power, and you can just get a lot more punch. So this bass has 2 volumes, front and back. It's the back. A lot higher in, mid-range. And you can push-pull. When you you pull it out, it becomes passive. Now on this model, this is a private stock model, so it's like, costs a lot of money. But, you can get it because, hey, you got great jobs and, I'm sure somebody's out there driving like, Mercedes-Benz and everything out there. Cool? No? Okay. You have the bass. You got the middle. I probably should play a higher note for the middle. Then you got the treble. And as far as sessions, anything you want to do with it, I like to use my thumb a lot, so I've been playing that. But I've seen players that is strictly, the finger style, and they like dial in. They may dial the back pickup back, just get that kind of Jocko-ish kind of tone. All the tones you can get out of this bass, all of them. And everybody that plays it their way, and it sounds totally different from how I sound. So there it is. It's a complete instrument. Yeah, yeah. This bass has well, the private stock has these two tap coil where you can just change the mid range just a little bit depending on what you're doing with it. It's been mostly useful for places that make your bass hum with lighting systems. Like, I don't know if this one will do it. No, it's quiet in here because the power and everything is great. But some places I go in the club and it's like going bzzz. So I just switch the pickups and they go away. It's great. It changes the sound just very slightly. I don't know if you can hear it. But it's very useful, a lot of different ways.
You only play fives?
I have a 4-string like this. 4-string kicks. I had well, they made a 4-string private stock in like a tequila kind of color. I had the mistake of letting Rhonda use it. And she asked me for it, and I said, "Really?" Then Paul said, "Go ahead, give it to her. I'll make you another one." I said, "Okay." So that 4-string that she plays, the tequila, that's used to be mine. The 4-string has a different feel, mainly because I guess the vibration of the B string is not there, so it just makes everything resonate different. But it's a very powerful instrument. It's really great. But I mainly play the 5 right now for a lot of the stuff that I'm involved in. Requires that nice low stuff. I have one of these where I strung up with a high C that sometime I use for jazz gigs where it's required to do that little more solo stuff. More questions? Because I used to listen to Sly and the Family Stones. And that was it, And then when he came up with Graham Central Station, that's when I just lost my mind. Yeah. But, as my mother said, I just went in the basement and I just tried to play everything I heard on the radio. So that was James Brown, that was like Stevie Wonder, it was like the all the Motown stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that was actually after the old St. George bass I had that my father brought. My next bass was a blonde P bass. I gave that one to Dennis. Thank you. Thank you. Right. You probably know that I played with Schofield too. That was a great experience because I learned so much about harmonics and everything with Sco and just how he was phrasing stuff. And he kind of let Dennis and I he'd give us the foundation and so y'all just go for it. So we went for it. It was a fun band. And he's talking about maybe trying to do a reunion. We'll see. See what happens. Yeah. What's that tune? I'm trying to think of that bass line for that song. That's wrong. What's that bass line? I wasn't prepared to play that. What's that bass line? Can y'all tell me? No? That one. the things that I like to I try to emphasize when I teach bass is trying to get students to have a inside clock or inside metronome or beat. And some guys I see playing, well, some of the young guys, they like start playing a groove like that, and they just kind of stand it. I say, wait, hold up, you got to at least get something going, where you can feel it. So you're going. And all the ands and the uhs and the whiny and the two, all those are important to make sure you're hitting those right. And that's kind of what I work with cats that come and want to learn from me. What do y'all think about that? Just do y'all work on that? Yeah. Well, yeah, they should get into the groove, but respect the meter and the time of what you're playing. Like if you're playing just if you're going to play anything off, you just got to stay within it. Just got to know, respect, if you're trying to play something off, respect that meter. And a lot of people really don't get into that too much. Any other questions?
When I'm trying to think how to phrase this, when it comes your time to take a solo spot, like with the Scofield stuff, what goes through your head? I mean, it doesn't look like you're just going for it. It looks like you have a plan of attack. Or are you really going for it? Some guys, it seems like they're just hanging on to the edge as you're soloing, but you never do.
No, I think I was hanging on. Yeah, because like I was learning at that time. Well, I'm always learning. But what's that song he used to break down to? I think it was the Nag. Where it was like crazy. And then he would stop playing, and then it was all like bass and drum. It was like, okay, now where are the harmonics? Where are we, and what I'm gonna do? I haven't the slightest idea. And I just try to flow with what comes in my head, and try to make it, try to tell a story as much as possible.
How do you think so well?
I have not the slightest idea. Mainly because I think listening to what's around you is very important. Hopefully, if you get a chance to play a song, you've already played through the changes, so you kind of know where the changes are. Hopefully, you can figure out where the harmonics are. So when your time comes where you got to step up, yeah, you do that. Yeah, it was great timing. Yeah, and just kind of just use what you've been hearing. I like rhythms because I actually started off on drums way back in the day, so I really like doing rhythms or different rhythms when I play or when I solo. And as you already know, I definitely love the thumb stuff, so that works for me. How can I demonstrate that? I'm trying to think. Okay. City States. All right, solo. You know. So I'm just making up stuff, rhythm, and playing in between the chords and playing off the beat, on the beat. Things of that nature.